Welcome to the Den, the Dark Entertainment Network. I'm the Gothic Rose, and this is the dark tale of the day. Welcome to the Den, the Dark Entertainment Network. I'm the Gothic Rose, and this is a channel where the news meets conspiracy theories. It makes babies in my brain, and it comes out my mouth. If you like this type of content, be sure to like, subscribe, follow, and hit that bell. Yes, we are back, dear fiends of the den, with the haunted history of Hollywood. And to remind you, I stand with the people of LA against the militarization of that city and any other sanctuary city in any blue state around the United States. With that said, I also condemn anyone protesting who is violent and destroys property or hurts anyone, whether they are in uniform or not, for any reason. I also condemn those in uniform hurting innocent civilians. Shout out to Kim Kardashian for being one of the first celebrities to call out these atrocities. Power to the people. Now let's talk about another disaster. We're going to talk about the silent film Titanic. Yeah, there was one that happened right after the disaster, and we're going to hit it today on the haunted history of Hollywood in the Den. The Titanic. For many years before it was found in 1985, it was like the lost city of Atlantis. And we could only rely on the firsthand account of the survivors, many of whom said the ship's lights were on right until it broke in half and sank to the bottom. And no one believed that the ship had broken in half until it was found in 1985, and that was proven correct. Now, as we all know, on its maiden voyage, the RMS Titanic sank on April 15th, 1912, after striking an iceberg. The Titanic was traveling from Southampton, England to New York City, and at the time, it was the largest ship afloat, designed to be the pinnacle of luxury and engineering, and supposed to be unsinkable. It sailed from Southampton on April 12th, 1912, and it was just in the ocean for literally 3 days before it hit the iceberg. Now, the disaster struck at 11:40 p.m. on April 14th, and it sank by 2:20 a.m. on April 15th. And out of the 2,200 people carried, only half or so made it. 1,500 people perished, and it was one of the deadliest maritime disasters in history until oceanographer Robert Ballard found it 12,500 feet below the surface. None of these questions were answered. And of course, as we know, the Titan sub imploded going down to see it, and Stockton Rush, according to his friends, had a death wish. And as we know, the Titanic did not have enough lifeboats. So, what happened shortly after this tragedy was a silent film, because everything's got to be Hollywood, right? In my humble opinion, what I am about to tell you is a story that was told too soon. So, there was a silent film called Saved from the Titanic. It was only 10 minutes long, and it was directed by Etienne Arnaud and released on May 16th, 1912, just 31 days after the disaster. Dorothy Gibson, a Titanic survivor, co-wrote the script and played a fictionalized version of herself, recounting the tragedy to her fictional parents and fiance. The film interspersed her retelling with stock footage of Iceberg, the Titanic's sister ship, the Olympic, and Captain Edward Smith, which is very weird because I thought he went down with the ship. Why would he be in the movie? So Gibson even wore the same clothes she had on the night of the sinking for authenticity, and the filming took place in Fort Lee, New Jersey, aboard a derelict ship in New York Harbor, which definitely had to be haunted. I'm wondering if she and the director and crew were haunted by the spirits of any of the souls that perished that night. So the film was well received, but some criticized it for commercializing the tragedy so soon after the event. And the last known prints of this saved from the Titanic silent film were destroyed in a studio fire in 1914. It is a completely lost film, so it was only in rotation for roughly 2 years. And interestingly, after that, Gibson never acted again. And she reportedly suffered a mental breakdown after completing the movie. And that makes sense. I'm telling you, it was definitely haunted, that set. You were on a haunted ship talking about another shipwreck with 1,500 lost lives, and you're trying to reenact it to make yourself some money. Now, I know a lot of people would have written books and things later on if it was, in this time, and I do get that, but I think a film released a month and a day after the tragedy is pretty gauche. And wearing the same clothes. Again, if it was a documentary, fine, but this really was commercializing people's deaths. And if she had a mental breakdown, I'm going to say she was suffering from survivor's guilt after making that film. So let me know what you think, survivor's guilt or something along those lines. Now, there were a lot of other films inspired by this disaster, and there was another film made in 1912 called In Nacht und Eis, In Night and Ice, a German silent film thought lost until it was rediscovered in 1988. 1929, Atlantic, and this was the first sound film about the disaster, but it was highly fictionalized. 1943, Titanic, you know where this one's going. This was a schmaltzy propaganda film portraying British incompetence while featuring a heroic German officer. 1953, Titanic, a Hollywood drama starring Barbara Stanwyck, focusing on an estranged couple aboard the doomed ship. This one actually sounds really good. 1958, A Night to Remember, a British docudrama widely regarded as one of the most historically accurate Titanic films, definitely on my list to see now. 1979, SOS Titanic, a made for TV film emphasizing personal stories of passengers. And of course, the film we all most know here and now, 1997's Titanic, and this was James Cameron's blockbuster, blending romance with historical tragedy, and it was the highest grossing film of its time. I saw it in the theaters. It was cold. It was dreary out that day, like just an absolutely freezing day, and I'm watching Rose and Jack fall in love and lose each other. It was a good movie. It really was, but they said Jack and Rose like so many times. But we gotta love Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet together, and the costume department did fantastic. It was a great film, and who doesn't love Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On"? I remember my mother had given me. I have to try and find it. It was a replica of the Heart of the Ocean stone from Avon. I'm gonna have to check and see where I put this because I can't find it in my house. Beautiful piece of jewelry. Thank you, mother. So we'll talk more about these Titanic films. I'm going to check out the German film that was also made in 1912. So if you want to hear about that, stop back in the den tomorrow for more haunted Hollywood history. If you have any dark tales of Hollywood you would like to share, from movies to actors to directors, producers, anything you've got, email me at welcome to the den podcast at gmail.com. Thank you, dear fiends of the den. I appreciate each and every one of you who is part of this community. And if you do like this content, please share, like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell. Thank you for joining me in the den. The Dark Entertainment Network is here for all your macabre needs.